All right, district breakdown time. We have come to our final district. It's 11-6A. I'm here with Professor Matt Diggs. It's been a great summer talking to you about these districts here in the DFW area, but we've come to what most people would call the cream of the crop, 11-6A. They got three big powerhouses at the top. I'm going to let you go start right ahead with some South Dallas teams.
Yeah, I mean, the big three are still going to be the big three, but I think, last year the big three were maybe 1, 2, and 4 in the area. This year, I don't know if Duncanville, DeSoto, Cedar Hill are all going to be top 5 teams. They're going to be playoff teams for sure. And when you get into playoffs, they're going to be good teams. But what I see in this district, we talked about last week in 10-6A, all of this offensive firepower. When you look at the top talent in 11-6A, it's all defensive firepower. And how is that going to relate? I mean, I think we could see when Duncanville and Cedar Hill play a 7-3 kind of game instead of these 42 or 77-70 games like you might see in 10-6A. But Duncanville has a lot of talent. I mean, they've got 10 of the top 100 players in the Dallas Morning News top 100. Players just recruits, and success begets success. And when people are moving in, when people are looking at the area and they're wondering, well, where am I going to go? They look at Duncanville, because what Coach Samples continues to do over there is he puts talent on the field. And now this looks like an IMG Academy team. But when I look at this thing, how are they going to score? I mean, they got a couple of good running backs. You got Chris Hicks at the receiver. You got Malachi Medlock at running back. A lot of their big players, I mean, obviously their highest recruit is Omario Moore, the defensive end. I mean, he may score a touchdown or two in the season, but I don't know if offensively, he's not going to be, throwing the ball. So what I want to see with Duncanville, because when I saw that Duncanville Southlake game last year, Southlake found a way to shut them down. I mean, they made the adjustments and they shut them down. Is this team, which is going to be better defensively and not better offensively, are they going to be really suited for a run? I don't know, because that's a heck of a loaded region, and whoever they're going to face in Region 1, if they get out of Region 2 in the state semifinals, it's going to be one of the best teams in the state. So I don't know, Duncanville will be in my top 5, but I don't know if they're my top 5 in the state, and I don't know if we're just going to pencil them in for a Duncanville or Austin Westlake or a Duncanville Galena Park North Shore 4. It's not that kind of team this year. But the talent is there. They're going to be fun to watch. That defense, I mean, they're probably going to play for about a quarter and a half every week, and they're out of there because they're that good, and they're just going to shut people down. But credit Coach Samples. He'll schedule them up because he knows he needs to do that. I'm really worried about Cedar Hill for the same way, because who's going to replace all of that senior talent offensively? I don't know how Cedar Hill is going to score, especially against the defense like we talked about with Duncanville. Jalen Peoples is coming back. You got Cedric Harden Jr., who's expected to be the quarterback, but he played very intermittently last year. How is he going to be as the man? He may take off, and we may be talking about him at end of season awards, MVP kind of things. But as of now, he's an unproven talent. DeSoto is going to have probably the best defensive line in the state, and that's after we talked about Mario Moore on the defensive line at Duncanville. They are absolutely loaded. Jalen Milliner-Jones, linebacker, Devin Bobby, Caleb Mitchell, Jordan James, Justin Ross, just name after name on the DeSoto defensive line. But offensively, who's going to score? And when I look at those three teams, I see a lot of defensive talent, but who is going to be the catalyst for an offensive run in a very heavy region? Guess what? Time will show us, but I don't have the answers for that right.
That is true. And Soto probably has the best skill position player as far as offense goes, with Jonte Cook as wide receiver. He's supposed to be able to break it out. And I believe they got a Lancaster wide receiver transfer over there. And speaking of Duncanville, I heard they have a quarterback coming up to be their quarterback. So they might have dipped down into Hal Watson's territory to grab somebody. But you talked about three teams. We still got another playoff spot. Who's getting that one out of the rest of the squads?
We do. In most years, I mean, last year, Waxahachie made the playoffs, but they had that zone set up again. So I don't know if that's going to be carry over as Waxahachie as the favorite. Waco Midway was my favorite last year. If you're asking me the top 4, I thought it was always going to be Midway at number 4, but they kind of stumbled. Now they have a new coach. Shane Anderson is coming in. I think they have the best name in the district at the defensive line, Eric Estrada. Whenever you got Eric Estrada on your team, you know you're doing well. Nicholas Taylor Harris is another good defensive lineman. They got a good wide receiver, Jalen Gibson. I'm going to put a star next to Waco Midway at number 4. I think Mansfield is the best choice for me out of the other 4 to sneak up on Waco Midway and challenge them for that 4th playoff spot. I think Waxahachie is going to take a step back. I think Lake Ridge is going to struggle to win a game this year, and I think Waco is going to struggle this year as well. So I think we're going to see Waco Midway against Mansfield in the last playoff spot. So it's going to be fun to watch.
And I'll tell you what was fun also. Talking with you this whole summer on these campfires has been a real joy, and I hope the fans have gotten a lot out of this, because I sure have, tapping into that brain and trying to figure out what you're going to say next. But the good news is the season goes for real in a couple weeks, and I know I'll see you at some games. Folks, look for Professor Diggs tucked away at the top somewhere with his computer and just taking in all the games he can get to.
It'll be great to be back in the press box this year, and thanks for having me on. I know you have to have a finger over the censor button at all times, but I appreciate you being willing to do it.
Yeah, I appreciate you being on, and we will see you out at the old gridiron this year.
See ya on the field.